Uh, Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to today's working group meeting on October 6th. Um, so first off, starting off with the project updates. Main project update that we have is now that we recently had a change that went in that includes deprecated AMIs. Karpenter will now support deprecated AMI. So if you deprecate an AMI, and that's the until you have a chance to update your node classes, Carpenter will allow you to continue provisioning with those AMIs as opposed to previously where all provisioning would have been disabled, at least for that particular AMI. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments, please take a look at the code change that went in.
It's worth noting that if you have
Another update is Carpenter soon will be releasing 1.1. This is going to be the version that's drop support for V1 Beta 1 and use the V1 API. So please make sure that if you have upgraded to the most recent version of 1.0, that you have all your APIs migrated to use V1, the V1 APIs, such that you'll be able to continue to easily continue migrating. So yeah, that's what we have for the project updates. Any questions on those? Uh, yeah, feel free to say. I can't necessarily take a look at the chat. Um,
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you have deprecated and non-deprecated armies, we'll prioritize the non-deprecated ones first. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I did not mention that. Yes, we will prioritize non-deprecated ones, and the only case we will launch with deprecated armies is if we have no other armies available to us. For the configure for us to be able to launch at least for the requirements that are stated either on the node or in the node pool. Cool. Um, if we have no other questions, uh, we don't have any RFCs at the moment. There are a few RFCs inside of the uh inside of the upstream Kubernetes 6 Karpenter. Mainly node overlay is still open. You feel free to still it's still open, so feel free to go add any comments, take a look at it. As well as I believe ODCR support, the RFC is still there. So if you have an opportunity to go ahead and add a few comments, feel free to go ahead.
RFC, sorry, just to chime in on the ODCR one. ODCR doesn't have an RFC right now. It's a tad confusing because the naming, but it's the implementation PR.
Gotcha. So the RFC is already merged in then.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then if you want to go, feel free to take a look at the implementation and then take a read through the RFC as well. Yeah, that's mainly the updates that we have there. Any questions, any community questions that the maintainer team can help answer?
I also wanted to mention that we have a couple of releases that we've done the past couple of weeks that are basically around fixing some of the bugs that we had with conversion webhooks and upgrading to V1. So if you're experiencing any upgrade issues on V1 or had some like maybe webhook issues, like with the old webhook being around or other things like that, feel free to check it out. And I'm sure if you have the issues, you're tracking the GitHub issues for it. So we should have posted anything about when those issues were fixed for our releases. Manny, you want to talk about some of the ones you fixed?
Yes. So there was there was an issue recently where we were experiencing with the server-side apply. Um, previously you primarily impacted Flux users that when during server-side apply under certain configuration, the API server would reject those calls. Those issues were fixed and were released as part of a previous patch release, I believe 1.04 or I believe it was 1.03. It was released. There's also an issue with kubelet configuration that was recently released where we were incorrectly calculating the max pause that would be allowed. So we were either overestimating or underestimating the amount of pause that would be available on that could be scheduled on the nodes. This could lead to us being able to improperly launch nodes or actually just setting the wrong max pause calculation altogether on the node. Yeah, we had quite a few issues. I believe now they're all closed out. But feel free to go take a look at the patch releases and that will describe the fixes there.
Yeah, also to add on to that, I think most of the issues we're aware of have to do with interactions, GitOps integrations. Which is like mainly just some things that I guess our team necessarily didn't expect with how we took a very opinionated stance about how Helm interacts with installations, and I think that that didn't pan out to be the case with how Argo works, which I think a couple of us weren't aware of, particularly around CRD upgrades. So I think there were a bunch of different things that we kind of had hit with respect to CRD upgrading and specifically with Argo interactions. To Emmanuel's point, those have been getting closed out. So I think there is like one mega issue that's kind of I'll call it a mega issue because there's like I think 100 comments on it right now. That's kind of tracking a few different things as far as I can tell. I think most of the problems that are being called out by users, at least at the beginning, are closed now. We're gonna probably take a pass at some of the issues because I know there's a few duplicates that are open. So I'll probably take a pass at the issues this week. And trying to close some of those out. It's a little clearer what's still open because I don't think there are many. We're not aware of many issues with the 1.0 release at this point. But I'd be curious if anyone who's on the call from the community has tried upgrading and what their experience has been. If anyone's willing to be bold and chime in. If not, that's also okay. We can we'll continue to track stuff through GitHub issues.
Yeah, please, if you are experiencing any pain, either with upgrading or with anything general with Karpenter, please let us know. We will try to help as much as we possibly can. Yeah. So I see one question in the chat. Why is the ARMY ID fix? And then do you?
Here,
Oh,
if you
yeah,
want to chime in.
sure.
So, do you want to mute? Okay, AMI ID isn't fixed. AMI ID discovery is now opt-in by default, or you have to opt in rather than it being defaulted. So I can get a doc link in the chat, but Karpenter for V1, we introduced a new AMI selector term called alias, and you can use alias to get the same behavior that you got from automatic AMI discovery pre V1. So I'll go ahead and grab the doc link for that and post in chat.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no specific anchor for alias, but it's if you just read down like a paragraph or so, it's one of the first things described. Yeah, and if you're coming from V1 Beta 1, the webhooks will automatically handle the conversion to an alias.
Okay, yeah, that
Any
answers. Thank
questions?
you.
Okay. So seeing no questions, I think we can call it a day, or we can call it, we can call this meeting early. Um, yeah, unless anybody else has anything to add. Yeah, we'll hope to see you all, everyone next week, next time. In 2 weeks, yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.